So grand rising, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody doing all right. I hope everybody woke up energized, refreshed, and ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, today's episode is sponsored through the compliments of Mimi's Hangout Spot and your seafood haven. Today, Thursday, check them out for your goat water, crayfish water, and of course the popular seafood boil with a wide assortment of seafood, crabs, shrimps, corn. Call them out, let me get the number, 245-7056. It's better you do a pre-order to ensure, especially for the things like the seafood boil, you want to make sure you get. So call them at 767-245-7056. And as we move along, ladies and gentlemen, you know, last night the Dominica Business Forum organized a social and sober exchange with the candidates vying for the Roseau North, or to be the parliamentary representative for Roseau North. So we had Miss Ashma McDougall, Mr. Danny Luge, and Mr. Sherman Boston. I must say, kudos to the Dominica Business Forum, and I look forward to future exchanges like this. I've always advocated for this type of sober exchanges where there is no rowdiness, no loud music, no bacchanal, and they can take questions from the public and answer sincerely. So everybody did well. Mr. Luge batted and defended. Ashma did the same. Boston also played a critical role, you know, in bringing what I call sincerity to the discussion. It was clear some of the supporters for Miss McDougall, the questions that they asked were directed directly to Mr. Danny Luge. And in one case I felt, okay, well, ask your candidate some hard question as well. In one case, the question that was asked was almost as if it was a promo. It wasn't challenging compared to what was asked of Mr. Luge. But there's always the continuous talk of how are you going to fund this, how are you going to fund that. Governance is about continuity. So if these are the plans and policies being implemented, the usual and traditional funding will take care of it. You talk grants, you talk loans, you talk taxes, you talk other funding, you know, that could be drawn on. Talk about where you're going to get funding. Nobody have a largesse, nobody comes there for a briefcase of money. But good debate, good discussion, and I want to encourage this throughout, especially when the official bell has rung. We're still waiting for the Roseau North bell to ring. I'm not sure what is the hold up, but it will ring, it must ring. It's something that must happen, is that, and it must happen before September. Yeah, so we look forward to that, ladies and gentlemen. A quick show in terms of regional news as we move to the island of St. Vincent. Your Prime Minister Godwin Friday won in a landslide manner, a mashup they would say. But I can inform you that the High Court is hearing an election petition challenging the eligibility of Prime Minister Godwin Friday and another cabinet member over alleged dual Canadian citizenship. The petition claims they were Canadian citizens at the time of nomination and election and therefore owed allegiance to a foreign state. That sounding familiar. The case is based on Section 26 of the Constitution, which disqualifies anyone who is under an acknowledgement of allegiance, obedience, or adherence to a foreign power from being elected to Parliament. So if you are a dual citizen, according to what that is saying, you are under allegiance to another country as well, you may be prohibited. The central legal issue is whether holding Canadian citizenship constitutes the types of foreign allegiance prohibited by the Constitution. So we will continue to follow this one, because the ramification, if it doesn't go in the Prime Minister's favor, it could result in a by-election to fill the declared vacant seat. The ruling could become a landmark constitutional decision, clarifying whether dual citizenship alone is enough to disqualify a person from serving as a member of parliament in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So, we will follow that one closely. We had a similar case in Dominica a couple years ago, but the Prime Minister was victorious. I don't think he had to declare. They say he cannot do anything that would be not in his favor. He can self-incriminate or whatever it is. But is that an issue? Do you think now we should decide that, hey, or there should be something else that go in with that? Because sometimes the right set of people, I mean, we want to come forward, but we might have, you know, we born America, we have whatever. Should that prohibit us? But if that is the law, that is the law. So Mr. Friday, we'll be looking at this. I mean, even if you lose, your party would still dominate in the House. Ralph only has one seat, but of course, that would be a major blow. Of course, if your Prime Minister is deemed unqualified, then that's a significant blow. They might even have to call election again. You just never know. So folks, have a wonderful day. As I said, let's continue with these debates. These debates organized by the Dominica Business Forum. Let's continue with those. We can get our candidates to come and speak from their heart, sincerely, and we can gauge them from there. Alright? Have a wonderful day, ladies and gentlemen. Alright?